Good evening. Welcome to the Talk Right podcast. I'm your host, Wayne Stinnett. And with me tonight is my co-host and narrator, Nick Sullivan. Nick, why don't you take it and introduce our guest for this evening?
All righty. Today we have Eric Stone, trop rocker extraordinaire, but also a new entry into the realm of action-adventure Caribbean novels. We also have J.P. Pierce, who is the voice and I would say almost godlike programming figure at Pirate Radio, streaming radio aimed not just at the folks who are cruising around on yachts or hanging out on dive boats or drinking rum down in Key West, but all the people who might be huddling in a frozen wasteland wishing they were in those places. How's that for an
that was an intro. You see, as a radio guy, I've been doing intros my entire life, and that was very decent. It's very rare it comes for me, and I appreciate that.
I'm really happy to have both of you guys on Talk Right this evening. Eric introduced me to Pirate Radio, God, what, 4 years ago, I guess, Eric, something like that. And then when he told me that Bob Bitchin was involved, I was like, well, yeah, I want to get involved in this. Anything Bob touches turns to gold.
Right. And we're glad. We got to talk about him a little bit later, too, and all that's been going on in his life.
That would be, I wonder if heuld come on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Like right now? I'll make it happen.
No. But yeah, that would be cool to have Bob on the show.
He'd definitely come on the show.
Normally, our podcast is an author-narrator team. But the problem we had with this show is Eric's narrator is also Nick Sullivan. And so we had to fill the seat somehow. So Nick suggested, how about somebody from Pirate Radio? And I thought, oh, man, JP's got the yeah, he'd be perfect. So we're going to talk about live streaming radio on live streaming video.
Wow, we're getting all inception-y here.
Yeah.
Well, and so what do you have in the background? Are you actually streaming your own podcast within our podcast?
Well, we are streaming this podcast that's happening right now. I like to talk with my hands, and on there, while I'm looking here, which we can change. That's just really weird. But yeah, that's the Talk Right podcast in the background that's happening now or in the future.
Actually, it's happening in the past, because if you notice your hand movement, it's not synced with your real time hand movement. We have a 15-second delay.
Well, I could change that if it's distracting.
No, it's all right.
Figure more exposure for you in the background.
So, Eric.
Yes.
You're now an author. You're not just a singer, songwriter, successful businessman. Now you've turned to writing novels.
Yep. And I blame you.
Hey, don't blame me for all the dysfunction.
You're the one that gave me the spark to want to do it, and that's for sure. From the beginning.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
That may happen a little bit. I've got a pretty bad cold.
Well, Eric.
Yes.
You came out with a book, and I think our listeners might like to see the lovely cover you've got there. Sure. Blue Waters. Very nice. Look at what's in the beach there. I absolutely love that cover.
You have to talk when you hold it up there, Eric. Otherwise, nobody sees it.
Oh.
Okay. So here's the cover. Can you all see the cover? There it is, right there.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's mirrored or if you can read it. Can you read it backwards?
No, you had it right.
Okay.
But what prompted you to take up the proverbial pen?
Well, actually, when I was in my 20s, I was working in Hawaii. I used to work for Northwest Airlines, and I lived in Hawaii, and I started writing a book. I don't know what caused me to want to write that book back then, but I wrote an entire novel, or what should be a novel, and I was backing it up, and I hooked it up to an external hard drive, and when I did the transfer, I screwed up something and the entire book became question marks. So every single character was a question mark. And that's on the computer and on the external hard drive. And I couldn't fix it. So I lost the entire novel. Technology, right?
Oh,
And
geez.
I'm like, oh my God. So it took from, I would guess it was about 26 till now, 28 now, to write the book. It took a few years for me to want to pick the pen back up, so to speak. I was pretty frustrated.
Yeah, I've lost whole chapters before. It definitely sets you back emotionally, psychologically, physically, every which way.
Yeah, I've had similar things happen with music too. I used to make my own backing tracks, like bass and drums on my keyboard. And I spent like 10 hours doing one time, and a lightning bolt struck out somewhere away, and the lights flashed, and I lost the whole song. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm done. So I never made another track after that. I just went to the studio. Hey, somebody
Well,
else.
at least you picked it back up, Eric. And
Yeah.
that's good stuff, man. Proud of you for that. In fact, I remember when you were getting the beginning of all of this, and full disclosure up front, my failure, he was looking for someone to narrate the audiobook for it. And I'm in my infinite cockiness and my voice, I said, oh man, I'd be perfect. I could do this, no problem. And well, it never happened because I didn't even send him a demo.
I didn't even know that was a possibility. Did we talk about that?
We did.
Okay. That was probably when I was trying to compete hard with you on YouTube.
But we were doing it together, man. We were friends.
Yeah,
We were even at one point.
we were.
But that's neither here nor there.
Right.
We're getting off the rails here.
We won't discuss where it went from there.
Oh, that's right, JP. You're a content creator on YouTube also.
I am.
Dadcast, is that what it's called?
No, Dadcast is my. Oh man, I wear so many hats, you guys, in the world watching and listening. I have a podcast that we recently started called Dadcast, which is exactly what it sounds like. I've got a buddy of mine who's a dad, and we just discuss all things dad and what it's like being single dads, which is what none of us are, but we have guests to come in, and the trials and tribulations of fatherhood. It's endless content. So we thought that'd be a good idea. And then the YouTube channel, which is something I wanted to do as a hobby, which got me really up to par with some video editing skills, because I'm an audio editor as a trade for the last 25 years of my life. I thought, hey, this video editing thing can't be much harder than doing audio editing. Well, it turns out it is a completely different beast, but they got me into droning, and yeah, I do a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that's the first time I met you. It was at St. Pete Boat Show.
It was the Miami International Boat Show. Yeah,
it was Miami. Dan
Yes.
Horn says, "Hey, come here, Wayne. You got to meet this guy." And I walk over, and you're staring up in the air, and I'm like, "What the hell is he looking at?" And then this little speck got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then this drone came down and landed right next to us. That was cool.
Yeah, it's fun stuff, man. They've gotten a little bit more crazy with the laws and rules and regulations over the past couple of years when it comes to doing that and where you can fly. But yeah, that's how Wayne and I met. That's how I met his family. Me flying a drone, and I didn't, in full disclosure, years later, I hope I didn't come off as rude, but when there's $2,000 worth of equipment coming down, I had to hold off on the handshake for a few seconds.
Oh, that was fine. It was cool just to watch it.
In fact, you guys,
I want to get one of those.
Everyone watching, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Go to JP Pierce, search it up on YouTube, and if you go back a couple of years, you'll see the Miami International Boat Show, and you all are in that video, by the way. I don't know if you've seen it, but
That's awesome.
Subscribe. Do the same thing with Wayne's Talk Right podcast right here. You're watching it on YouTube Live, so just click the button. Easy peasy.
That's true.
All right, I finally got onto the YouTube channel so I can field some questions.
Oh,
but
are you
it's
on my
really
channel?
slow to load. No, I'm on the Talk Right podcast channel
Oh, there's a couple.
where our viewers are watching.
Don Maynard says, excellent cover and an even better story behind it. And my daughter is on right now. She's 7 years old. She says hi.
Whoop.
Sorry.
Watch the language.
Oh, hi, Avery. Well, yeah, we've got
Hi,
a few
Avery. Hi,
people.
girl.
Our,
Thanks
our,
for watching.
the
We love you.
usual cast of characters. Eric, not Eric, Nick, take it over for a second so I can sort out this.
Oh, okay. Let me see. I want to ask a question here. Eric,
Yes.
when you've written so many songs, and I imagine when you're writing lyrics, there's probably an element of difficulty there that novel writing doesn't. It's almost tactically difficult instead of strategically difficult. Do you have any tricks for writing lyrics, and did any of that come into play when you were moving into novel writing?
Yeah. Basically, as a writer, as a songwriter, I'm gonna say songwriter and writer, so you know the difference. Okay, writer about books, but as a songwriter, you take a big story, and you make it really small, 3.5 minutes, right? As a writer, it's got to be bigger. You got to stretch, right? That was the hardest part for me, because I can write a 3.5 minute song, but then you got to tell me I got to write 56, 60 something thousand words. I'm like, whoa. That was the big difference for me, is I didn't realize, because I'm really, really good at taking a really good story and shrinking it down to 3.5 minutes. So there was
You get to the end a little bit too fast that way.
exactly. So that's kind of the downside of being a songwriter for me. At first was learning how to stretch out, but it's awesome though. I'm loving it. The process of writing a novel is amazing. Rewriting a novel, I'm not going to say the words, but it's not as fun as writing a novel. You all know what I mean.
I
Yep.
don't. I have no idea what you mean.
Well, when you write your novel, you send it to the editor and they send it back, and then you got to rewrite the whole thing. You won't understand.
And then you have it recorded and you have to sit down and read it for the 17 millionth time while you listen to it to
Yeah,
catch those little errors and omissions.
that's right.
Yeah, it's a tedious process to get it finally to the end user.
It really is.
Well, I have an admission to make. Wayne graciously sent me the entire collection that he had. Gosh, about 1.5 years, 2 years ago now, give or take. I've gotten through about 3 or 4 of them, and I'll tell you what. Growing up, avid reader. I loved reading. I'm a big fan. Haven't done it as much lately, and you kind of kickstarted and re-sparked and lit a fire under my behind for reading when you sent me those, and thank you, because they're really, really good. I'm not just saying that. You're
Thank
excellent,
you.
right? And it's right up my alley. I mean, literally right the kind of stuff I like to read, where I'll read a chapter here and there. Nope, I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning because I had to finish the book, because we're not waiting till tomorrow to deal.
What did you read as a kid?
I think my parents weren't totally aware of it, because as a parent now myself, I don't think I would have allowed it. But in 6th grade, I got through pretty much the entire Stephen King collection.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's kind of young.
And I've reread a few of the books, later in life, and went, oh my gosh, I was reading that at 12 years old, 11 years old. Woo. But I think my parents just like, oh, he's reading. Good.
Excellent. So, Eric, you gonna play a song for us this evening?
Sure, yeah.
What's on the menu?
I don't
Maybe
know.
I can check on YouTube and see if there's any requests.
Okay.
Ooh. Or everyone watching right now, make a request. Let's put some pressure on them.
Oh, come on. I'm drinking alcohol at 7.5%. Come on now.
Oh, that makes it easier for you.
I'm drinking alcohol at let's see, 60%.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Got a little 80 proof.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're lucky. I'm stuck in a studio and have to drive home, so no drinking for Papa.
All righty.
I'm not seeing any requests, so I'm going to make one. Oh, wait a minute. Jordan's over there raising her hand. What song is it you want to hear?
Rusty Anchor Bar and Grill.
Oh, she said, I don't know if you heard her or not.
I can hear that.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't know that one.
Well, let me get my guitar here.
Give me 1 second. Let me get all set up here.
And Wayne, are you gonna do a backing guitar for this?
No.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna
Eric
mute
does-
myself.
Am I good?
Eric plays guitar. I torture it.
All right. So tell me when you're ready. You ready?
Go ahead. I'm going to mute my mic.
Okay. Here we go. Little Rusty Anchor Bar and Grill. Bar stool in the corner, strummed on my guitar. Some half sober locals just trying to unwind. Kept my set list simple, just like this rundown bar. Just a few windows in old Dade County pine. Julie wiped the bar down while Rusty drank a beer. Smell of blackened fish and mangoes filled the air. It's the end of a no-name shell road. One thing that is clear, it's no accident if you wind up in there. Feels like home and always will. Rusty Anchor Bar and Grill. Ain't no Margaritaville. Yeah, it's real. It's a Rusty Anchor Bar and Grill. Ain't no gun and knife club, but it ain't too far from it. So if you're looking for trouble, then you come to the right place. So just pull up a bar stool, and if you don't start no shit, Jesse won't have to mess up your pretty face. Feels like home and always will. Rusty Anchor Bar and Grill. They know Margaritaville. Yeah, it's real. It's Rusty Anchor Bar and Grill. Come as you are and you will see. You'll be treated just like family. It ain't much to talk about, but it ain't hype. They have the best blackened fish and cold red stripe. Feels like home and always will. Rusty Anchor Bar and Grill. They know Margaritaville. Yeah, it's real. It's Rusty Anchor Bar and Grill. It's Rusty Anchor Bar and Grill.
Yeah. How about that?
All right.
I love that you got the blackened fish and red stripe in there.
Yeah.
We actually, what book was it that we had so much trouble getting that into, Nick?
Oh,
It was,
you mean
Where
putting
we
the
actually-
actual song at the end?
we actually put the song at the end of the audiobook.
I don't remember. That was a while back.
I
I think
have
it
it
was.
sitting right over there.
I think it was Rising Storm.
I can go grab it. Sitting right there.
Oh, yeah. Tell us which one it was.
But yeah, we had so much trouble getting Audible to okay it because it's a song. But I actually wrote had the lyrics in the back of the book, so although it was a song, you were reciting what was on the written page. So they eventually let it happen.
Well, yeah, but I think we had to get Eric to tell them it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is something we have a lot of writers that watch this show, and this comes up from time to time. And I actually had a new writer send me his book, and one of the first things I see in it is lots of lyrics being quoted from a Bob Marley song, and I thought, well, all right, this will be on my list of notes. There are rules for using lyrics. Just as in audio, we're not allowed to sing tunes that you don't have the copyright for. But also, apparently, you really can't. I mean, you might be able to get away with like a little phrase that calls up the song, but you're really not supposed to put lyrics unless you get permission. So I didn't mean to go off on a tangent though, but that I do remember we had trouble with Audible until we explained, no, this was written for this book. Then they were fine.
It took a while to get it across though.
Well, I lied. It's not over there. It's another book. I have it here somewhere, but I'm not going to spend all day looking around for it.
Not a Grin on YouTube says it was the last Fallen book. So that means it was Fallen Hero. I know in Fallen Hero, Nick, you actually sang or almost sang.
Yes, because I think we picked something I could do.
Yeah, that
I was
old
allowed to.
Airborne Ranger song.
Yes, that was almost said open.
I'd like to hear Nick sing something right now.
Oh, something's wrong with my mic.
Hey, Wayne, Eric, I know this may be a little bit not what you're used to, being that you are the host, Wayne, of this podcast, but remember, you got a radio guy on with you right now. I have a question, and it's a writing question. This may be a common question for you guys. I don't know, but I mean, where do you find the inspiration? Where do these stories develop? Is it in your head at once and then you put it all down, or do you kind of have a base idea and then add to it as you go along? Or, I mean, how does that process work for you two?
Yes.
I'm glad you said that. I was going to say the same thing.
Some people, there are two basic groups of people. Those who create an extensive outline. You can look behind Nick and you'll see all those Post-it notes. And he's an outliner. He's a plotter. He plots everything to the nth degree before he starts writing. I don't. I sit down with a blank screen and type once upon a time, and then the story just flows from there until I get to the end.
Now, do you sit down though before that once a time with just an idea of what that particular story is going to be, or is it just blank slate, go?
It is totally blank slate. I sit down with a blank screen, close my eyes, and I try to think of something that I've experienced that I can make Jesse experience, that I think most of my readers have experienced. Like you've obviously stood on the beach right at the water's edge, and the water washes over your feet, and then it washes back again, and your feet kind of sink at the heels a little bit. Uh-huh. I described that in about 3 pages. And then I whittled it down to, a half a page, a few paragraphs, but it's something that almost everybody's experienced at some point. Well, unless you're from Kansas and you've never been anywhere, but I just go from there. And sometimes I'll have an idea of what the primary plot is going to be. But most of the times I don't, until Jesse actually lets his heels sink in the sand and he describes it, and he looks around and he sees the puffy white clouds and the trees swaying and the tug on the fishing line. And then something happens. What it is, I don't know until he knows. But that's me. Nick does it totally different.
Yeah, and I do it like you, Wayne, but I'm a wannabe Nick. I want to outline, but I'm trying to get my books out fast. And so every time I plan to do an outline, I just end up writing a book instead.
I did that once.
I'll do the
Somebody said, you got to outline. So I said, okay, I'm going to sit down and write an outline. And after 2 weeks of working on the outline, I was halfway through with the outline, and I finally just chucked it and started writing the book.
But yeah, there's two kinds of writers. The seat of your pants writers, like I think you and I are, what they call it, right? Seat of the pants.
Yeah, pantsers.
Yeah,
Pantsers and plotters.
yeah, and I'm a wannabe plotter, and I think everybody's a writer. Will grow hopefully, or get worse. I hope not, but you hopefully grow and change. And I mean, one day I may be a plotter. I don't know.
I have a confession on the book I'm working on now. I had the overall thing all thought out, and I had most of the first 2/3 plotted out. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to pants it from this point to that point and see what happens. Well, it did not take long for me to go, what have I done? I had all sorts of logic issues, and I ended up having to burn down a whole bunch of stuff and go back. So I think some of our brains are just made the way they're made.
You think you being a plotter has a lot to do with you being involved with film business or acting in general?
Always having a script.
Yeah.
Well, I tend to think and structure the books in acts. They're structured like screenplays, I think, more than novels.
Yeah.
And even the chapters are somewhat episodic. They're kind of, somebody called the audiobook for one of my earlier books a Netflix for the ear. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm trying to tug you on to the next episode at the end of each chapter. But I don't think that's anything unique. I think all writers do that, no matter how they're thinking of their medium.
Okay. I just see the notes on the back, and it reminds me of storyboards, like in a commercial or whatever they're doing.
Let me ask some music questions, if I could, because we've never had a trop rocker on.
Okay.
Well, first off, you just did Rusty Anchor Bar and Grill, which is so freaking cool that it's a book about an iconic location in Wayne's books. And I'm curious, it seems like such a cool thing to do. Have you written other songs for other authors?
Yes, I have, for Chip Bell, who does all the books that are named after Jimmy Buffett songs. Those of you guys that know Chip. He asked me to do that, and I wrote a song for him called Topical Crimes in Tropical Climes.
That's a great title.
Say that 3 times fast.
It's hard to even sing it without messing it up.
All I heard in that was tropical lines, and now I want a Corona.
Well, here's a fun question, and I want to know that. So we all know Jimmy Buffett, and anytime I explain that I'm recording for a trop rocker, I then tell them all about Eric Stone. But I would be curious if someone came to you and said, I really love your music and Jimmy Buffett's music. Who else can I listen to? Who are some other trop rockers? Because I honestly don't really know all that much about it. I listen to your music, I listen to Jimmy's, but that's where my knowledge ends. And JP, jump in on this too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, right off the top of my head, there's a guy, and to the best of my knowledge, is not super very well known, but Mac Meadows. You can get a whole bunch of his tunes on pirate radio, and trop rockers. I wouldn't say it's a certain lane. It's a 5-lane highway where trop rockers can be. You've got your Jimmy Buffett, who's right down the center of that lane. You got Eric Stone, who's very diverse. He could be in the center, but the man could do anything. And I think it's all about writing about things that are tropical, your tiki bars, your vacations, your sailing, your scuba, anything that falls into the realm of that. A lot of new country artists right now. I mean, top of my head, Zach Brown Band. most people think of him as a country artist, but I like to think of him as absolutely country rock and definitely trop rock, because there's so many, drink songs about tequila. You can be a rock and roll artist, heavy metal, and drinking about tequila, and all of a sudden, boom, you are now a trop rock artist. Or
same with Kenny Chesney. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Kenny, that's on my next example right there. So it's very diverse, but yet, it's confusing, but it can be a lot. But if you want straight down and narrow there, search up Mac Meadows. There's a lot of his tunes on there that we play. Not, of course, as much as Eric, because we love Eric. In fact, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Eric gets a song every hour, every day, every 7 days a week, 24/7. That's how much music Eric Stone has, by the way. I couldn't do that with a guy who only had 2 albums. That would get very repetitive, very, very fast. So, I mean, I think I can go, a week and a half, 2 weeks under that. And the man, there's not a repeat in there at all. And then I get to add Christmas music, which I just took out.
Speaking of which, you've got a new album coming out pretty soon, don't you, Eric?
Yeah, I've been saying that for a year, but then I got started writing the book.
I know, that's why I'm nudging you.
I pretty much got the entire album finished. All the songs are in the can. There's 2 songs left that I have to do vocals and harmony on, and that's it, and it's done. It's just, I didn't want to release it and compete with the book. And then I started writing the second book, and I'm like, okay, I got to get this book out. And then COVID, all this stuff, going back to Nashville to cut. So basically it's, all the songs are done. I just got to sing 2 vocals and harmony and play a harmonica part. And I just got to get it out there. It's called Chips and Salsa. And it's freaking amazing.
I love the title.
Yeah, it is literally one of the most amazing records. Because it's been since 2012 that I put out a full studio album. That's crazy to me. Because I bought a restaurant in the Keys. I mean, you remember that? And that's where we met. And so that was like 3.5 years of my life that I really didn't do any recording. And then life just kind of happened. And I did put out 2 albums since then that were compilations. And it was a live record that I recorded in Tonga in the South Pacific. But as far as like a full studio album, this will be the first studio album since 2012, which is Time to Fly. So I think people are probably ready at this point. I know I am. I just got to get it done.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, my very first book signing was right there at Dockside. I called Eric on the phone and I said, look, I know you don't know me from Adam, but I know who you are. And I'm a writer, and I write about the area, Marathon, and I want to come down and do a book signing there. And he was like, sure, come on down. So I scheduled it for, I think, a Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon. And me and my wife and my youngest daughter sat there under the canopy, and there was nobody there. And this dog came over, and he showed a little interest for a while, but he didn't end up buying a book.
I didn't realize that was your very first book signing. That was your first book signing?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you hung around and you listened to music. I think my band played that night, I believe.
Yeah.
And
and then I did the second one there, and I was set up right next to the stage. Everybody was dancing around me, but again, nobody wanted to buy a book.
That's too cool, man.
Now, is the Rusty Anchor Bar and Grill based on Dockside?
No, Dockside appears in my books. It's a totally different place, but they're within walking distance. Rusty Anchor is kind of, well, if you know where Marathon High School is, it's just in behind Marathon High School, back in the marsh, in the salt marsh.
That's true.
I kind of want to go to the Rusty Anchor Bar and Grill.
Yeah,
Here you go.
I wish you would open up one. That would be great.
I've been talking about that. I make no secret that I do whatever Randy Wayne White does. He wrote a spinoff series with a female main character, so I looked at all my female characters and Charity Styles. Now there's 5 Charity Styles books. And then he opened that Doc Ford rum bar, and I'm like, oh man, now I got to open a rum bar.
How about half bar, half radio station?
Yeah, there you go.
I like that idea. You have any entertainers at that bar?
At which bar?
Bar you're going to open?
Yeah,
Oh,
Eric
definitely.
Stone. Of course,
Yeah.
he's going to open.
Yeah, you got an open mic anytime you want to come.
Oh, I don't do open mic.
Yeah, and I'll even pay you.
That I can do. That I can do. All right.
Well, JP, why don't you tell us a little bit more about pirate radio? I tried to sneak in a little bit during the intro, but I think that's something we could flesh out. And a lot of the readers of Tropical Adventure, I think this is the sort of music they could have on in the background while they're reading the book.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you. Well, first off, for anyone interested in listening to the station, all you need to do, whether you have an Android phone, an Apple phone, or you're on a desktop or a laptop, an iPad, whatever the case, just go to the App Store and search up Pirate Radio, P-Y-R-A-T-E radio, and download the app. Boom, you can listen to it 24/7 as long as you have a data connection or Wi-Fi, which pretty much everyone in the world does these days. It was born out of Trade Winds Broadcasting about 15, 20 years ago with the onset of broadband internet. But we weren't at the point back in 2006-ish to where it was just, it worked, but it didn't work like we wanted it. You know, it was just too slow, lots of buffering here and there. But as the years have progressed, and especially today, as you all know, everyone has a little device in their pocket that can do pretty much everything. And it finally got to the point where we can be successful, and the vision of what we wanted radio to be and pirate radio to be is now absolutely attainable. I don't know if many people are going to shake their head at me when I say what I'm about to say, but FM traditional radio, it's not dead, but it is definitely dying, but it will never be completely dead. Okay, so I just want to disclose that. But streaming is the absolute way of today and absolutely the way of the future. You want to hear a song, you pull out your phone and you type it in, you go get it, you know, and there's multiple avenues of how to get your radio stations. Heck, people who love their FM radio station they grew up on in Los Angeles and now they live somewhere else, they get the app for it and they can listen to it via their phone streaming. So that's kind of where Pirate was born. And Captain Dan Horn, who's the main guy here when it comes to Pirate and its dream, he reached out to me many years ago because I program and thought that I could do a good job with this, and we did it. And we programmed a radio station that is targeted, as we mentioned earlier, to the sailors, the sailing lifestyles, the people who want to take vacation home with them after they've gone, and just get that feeling of, you know, the music that you would get if you're swimming in the Caribbean, or if you're down in the South Florida, or you're in the Keys drinking at a tiki bar. And that's the feel of what pirate radio is. And did that cover it?
That's good.
I covered it quite well. And we could go on for hours talking about Captain Dan Horn.
Oh,
and
yeah, and he could go on for multiple hours too.
He is the most interesting man in the world, no doubt.
Literally. And yeah. Dan, if you're
the
watching
Dos Equis
right
guy has nothing on him.
Yeah, I could live 4 lifetimes and I wouldn't have half the knowledge of that man has lived and has in that brain of his. He's a smart guy. And I'm very blessed that he reached out. It's, you know, I was mutual friends with a guy who had that dream of making a radio station in the tropics. He wanted to be a pirate and do his radio thing. And that's where it was born from. And sadly, he passed away, I believe, in 2012, 2013. And I reached out to Dan because I didn't know if he'd heard of this. And well, I didn't know the man at all, didn't know who he was or what he was about, other than that he was an investor for my friend who passed away. And I reached out and we started chit-chatting, and here we are in 2021, and he has put his faith in me as pretty much the main guy to program this station, be a talent on it, find other talent, et cetera, when it comes to radio.
Now, your on-air voice is just a little bit different, though, isn't it?
Well, it depends. It all depends. You know, I'm talking normal as it is right now, but if I go on pirate radio, of course, you do kick in that radio voice just a little bit, you know, inflections, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, sometimes I'll put in the pirate accent when I'm talking, you know, et cetera. But and a lot of the stuff you hear in between songs, it's called imaging, for people not familiar with radio. A lot of that is my voice doing the pirate. This is Pirate Radio. Tune in at pirateradio.com. It's my voice will change depending on the mood, the song, the story we're telling, whatever the case may be.
And then here in the last year, you found Captain Ron.
Yes, it isn't that the greatest name ever?
He's just so fun to listen to.
I'm glad you guys.
The music is great, and everything about Pirate Radio is wonderful. And then you get this guy coming on there, and he's living the dream. And
yeah, I'm glad
telling you about it.
Really glad you guys like him. If you're listening right now, Ron, see, I told you, people like you. People like you. He is a friend of mine. We actually worked for competing radio stations for many, many, many years here. And I've always loved his sound. Just when it comes to radio and a talent on the air, it's all about that voice and that delivery and, that personality first and foremost over all of that. And he had all of it. And I reached out to him and said, hey, man, I got this project thing going on. We've got COVID. You want to be able to do a radio show in your underwear on the couch? Because I got something for you. And here we are. It turns out he enjoys doing it. We love having him. And he's getting a fan base. And
he just sounds like he's having a really, really good time doing it.
Yeah, we do. It's radio, man. It's in my opinion, one of the best jobs in the world. Just wish it paid better.
All right. Well, Eric, tell me about Rick Waters. Where did Rick Waters come from?
Well, like you told me once, because when I first started getting into this idea of writing, you and Cap Daniels you were my mentor for sure, and Cap's been amazing. Dan Mason, Cap, whatever. I was like, man, those guys are military, ex-military, special forces, freaking ops, special ops, all that. I have no experience in that. I don't know. I wasn't in the military or anything like that. So I said, well, I'm going to have to and you told me, write what you know. So I said, okay, well, I know about the Bayou. I grew up in Southeast Texas, and I grew up on the Bayou. I know about rednecks. I'm gonna write this. I'm gonna write about this guy that's a redneck that treasure hunts, because I'm a treasure hunter. And you just kind of like you said, you create stories around things that may have happened or stuff you're familiar with, and you just expand it, and some of the things that you just use as a location, like the Bayou and stuff and New Orleans. If you haven't experienced life, I don't know how anybody can be a writer if they haven't traveled and seen the world. And I have, because I've worked for the airlines for so many years. I've been everywhere. I've done everything as far as you can do as far as traveling goes. And when you travel, you meet a lot of crazy people. That reflected in all my songs. It's the same thing. It's the same process. And Rick Waters is just this redneck guy that got his detective license online and uses his treasure hunting skills to solve mysteries.
Now, is Eric Stone a pool hustler also?
I suck at pool.
Well, you're gonna have to come over sometime, and I got that big old pool table downstairs.
Remember we played one night, and I'm terrible.
When I narrated the book, I kept waiting for Rick to whip out a guitar, but that's one aspect you decided to keep out of there.
Well, it's not about me. It's just about experiences. That's the thing. Like pool. I'm terrible at pool, but I've been around pool halls. I played music all my life. I've been in many pool halls, and of course, I played pool. I'm not good at it, and like Rick is not Eric. Rick is just a guy that has experiences that I've had similar experiences to. So it's got to be different. There's lots of different variations of things that I'm nothing like,
We do have a whole bunch of requests on here. Just Jessica Ames, that's Kim Robinson's daughter. Ed Robinson's stepdaughter. She asked if you could play Always Trust Your Cape. Of course, that's a Jimmy Buffett song, and we're not going to go there. Sorry, Jess. But Eric's going to play one more song, and it's going to be an Eric Stone original. But we'll save that for about 5 or 10 minutes from now.
That sounds
And
good. You don't want to get
Bradford is on here. Bradford's in the house.
Bradford, what's up?
And
Captain Billy Shine.
Captain Billy Shine.
Captain Billy Shine. Hey, since I have the platform here, and I didn't mean to interrupt, I apologize. Captain Billy Shine, we'd really like to have Billy back on Pirate doing a Saturday show or something. It was really good. Wayne can attest to that. So can Eric.
I loved it.
Again, Bradford's asking for a pretty cool song in my book, a song that I really enjoy, Black and Fish Sandwich.
That's an original. I can do that one.
That one you can do. Okay, so we'll set that up for about 4 minutes from now.
Yes, it's only I can let you do that on your channel. Otherwise, you'll get copyright infringement.
There you go.
Do a Buffett song. You don't want to get infringed on that.
Okay, let's see if we got any. Eric or Nick, you got a question, I'm sure. You wrote a bunch of them down, right?
Yes, I do. But do we have any more on YouTube?
I'm looking.
Okie dokie.
I have to put on different glasses to look.
Oh, understood. Oh, well, yeah. So there is another book coming after Blue Waters. I don't know how close to the vest you want to be with it, but is there anything you can tell us about the next book that's coming?
Yeah, I can tell you. Well, first of all, it's the manuscript is finished and it's sent to the editor and it's back to me, and I'm in the process of rewrites. It's my favorite thing to do in the world. He said sarcastically, you know what I mean?
Okay, I do have a question from YouTube, but before that, we have a viewer on YouTube, and I'm going to butcher his name, I know, because he's from Norway. We're live in Norway, guys.
Oh, that's my buddy. I can tell you. I know who that is. Bjorn.
Vebjorn?
Yes, like Bjorn Borg, just out of VE. Bjorn.
Vebjorn. I thought that's how it was pronounced.
What's his question? He's going to be giving me a
No, he just says great show. But I just wanted to mention we're live in Norway.
Yeah.
I bet it's cold up there, isn't it?
Really, really late there. It's 7 hours ahead.
Yeah, that's what he says. It's 1 a.m.
Yeah. He doesn't sleep anyway, so he'll be fine. So you want me to answer anything else about the book, Nick?
Oh, yeah, there was, where was that question?
Well, the next book, can you tell us the title?
Yeah, it's Vanishing Waters. And it picks up pretty much where the second book left off. I mean, the first book left off. Some of the characters that are endeared to people now are definitely coming back. I didn't realize how popular Chief the Cockatoo would be, but he's going to be a mainstay character, as well as Possum, and Jules makes an appearance, and it's really exciting. I didn't know how people were going to take to the characters. Remember, I said earlier, I didn't know how people would like Rick, because he's not special ops and he's not all those things, and I was like, I didn't know if they're going to like this guy, and they like him, and they like him with Chief. So that's going to continue.
Okay, here's a question. Yvonne Edwards asks about your online schedule, your gig schedule. Is it up to date? And she would love to see you in person.
Unfortunately, due to COVID, I'm not performing too much anymore right now anyway. So I'm playing a few local gigs. So I haven't really been keeping up with the schedule. I do have the St. Pete Boat Show coming up the 13th through the 17th. But honestly, there's just not that many gigs. So I haven't been performing on a regular basis like I used to. And that'll change, and then I'll get back into it. But islanderic.com is my website, and that's where I post. So it's just islanderic.com, and then you can find the schedule and links there. So yeah, it's pretty outdated right now.
Yeah, we were talking about other trop rock singers, and Cap Daniels brought up one of my favorites, the late Jim Morris. And man, the guy could tell some stories and just absolutely wonderful storyteller.
Yeah, he's a great storyteller. He would have probably ended up being a good writer too, I think.
Okay, well, why don't we go ahead and get your guitar out again?
Okay. There it is. Just that fast.
And Black and
For the
Fish
record,
sandwich.
if you all weren't hungry, you're going to get hungry in a minute.
This is one of my favorite Eric Stone songs.
As I say on stage most of the time, it's not just a song, it's a recipe. Black and fish sandwich. Black and fish sandwich. Oh, a black and fish sandwich. Black and fish sandwich. I don't like chicken. I don't eat beef. It's on my dinner plate. It comes from the reef. I use my spear gun to fill my dish with a tasty grouper for a mahi fish. In a bowl of butter, I add cayenne. Cover up the whole fillet, then begin frying. That pan get real hot. Smoke up my shack. My fish is ready when the whole damn thing is blackjack. Black and fish sandwich. Black and fish sandwich. Oh, black and fish sandwich. Black and fish sandwich. My girlfriend came home, some Burger King. Wrapped in yellow paper was a big fish or something. Started watching TV, so I snuck away. Blackened up my BK fish, had it my own way. Hey! Black and fish sandwich, black and fish sandwich. Oh, black and fish sandwich. I was in Australia on a liver boat. I asked the captain if I could cook the fish I scored. The rep said, dealing, the golden smoke. They left my black and fish is for no joke. Black and fish sandwich, black and fish sandwich. Oh, oh. Black and fish sandwich. Black and fish sandwich. Black and fish sandwich. Oh, oh. Black and fish sandwich. Black and fish sandwich. Black and fish sandwich. Oh, oh. Black and fish sandwich. A black and fish sandwich.
Yeah.
In a while.
Did I hear a reference to BK Big Fish in there at one point?
Yes, yes.
Or something along those lines.
Nice.
Yes. You remember the BK fish, right, from Burger King?
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's so much better than the McDonald's one because it's
Yes.
thick.
If we're going to go that route, y'all better try the Arby's fish sandwich.
Oh, really? I don't know if we have an Arby's.
It's the closest thing to an actual real piece of fish when it comes to fast food. You're welcome, Arby's.
We are
Just had
at
to
that
check the
point in
fire
the
rating.
show where, since JP's taking a big chug there, where we talk about one of my favorite subjects, and that's what kind of rum we're drinking.
I'll jump in. If I were to be drinking rum right now, Sailor Jerry and
Oh, yeah.
Buzzards.
15-year-old. Yeah.
Nick, it's your turn. You've got an actual example you can show.
I've got here the real McCoy, which is a small batch from Barbados. And the reason I've got it is my brother loves really good, really dark, really aged rum, and he loves Barbados. And I thought, what a brilliant gift for me to get him for Christmas. And I went down to visit, was over at his new house, checking out his bar area before Christmas. And I saw this on his shelf and realized I had given it to him last year. So
You took it back.
Now I'm drinking it.
Well, in honor of JP, I am drinking pirate rum.
That's awesome.
It's spelled without an E, though. They don't.
Well, it's not the old English way,
Yeah.
but that's all right.
Did that bottle come with the little metal thing with the Buddha on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've still got some of my keys on one of those.
I'm not drinking rum, but if I was drinking rum, I'd be drinking Raylene rum.
Raylene rum.
That's the first Texas rum. My good friends in Texas started a rum company. I met them when I was living out in the Virgin Islands, and they came to the bar I was playing at, and they said, we did a rum tasting. We did tasting all the rums in the bar, and they said, I'm going to start my own rum company. I said, okay, dude, whatever. He goes, no, I'm going to start a rum company. I said, okay, you start a rum company, and I'll write a song about your rum company, and we can put out a greatest hits album. He's like, okay. And then a couple of years later, he's like, dude, I got a rum company. I'm like, oh, damn it. So I had to do it.
Now you got to write a song.
So this CD was actually physically attached to the rum bottles for the first 1,000 bottles in Texas. It's very cool.
How'd you attach a CD to a bottle of rum? Was it a square bottle?
No, it's just, these are like, cardboard. So they just put a little pinched a hole in it, and they wrapped it around with the plastic, and it was just hanging there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you bought the rum, you got the CD.
Hey, speaking of music that is attached to cool things, Eric, before we run out of time, you should probably show us that little guitar.
Oh, that's
Oh, yeah, the one behind you.
No, that.
Okay, so this is a guitar in a casket. I hate to say casket. How about a fancy box? Okay. And inside the box, it's all made out of bamboo, is a little guitar with a keychain, right? It's got my logo on there. It's got my logo on the front of the box too. And I don't know if it's all washed out with the video, but this is just a little wooden guitar. But if you open it, it's a flash drive. And it has all 15 of my albums on it. And I can put a link later on, Wayne, if that's cool, in the
Oh, yeah.
video of the, and then you can get these, and you can also have a combo where you can get the book and the my first book and this little cool guitar flash drive combo with 15 albums. There's also videos on there. There's interviews. It's really interesting because people were asking me, dude, I don't buy CDs anymore. You sell flash drives? And I'm like, no. I thought about it, but no. So I'm like, I'm just going to sell a stupid plastic flash drive. So I went and I found these cool customized guitar flash drives, and they sell like freaking hotcakes. At the boat show, I'll sell out. So they're awesome.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing in the world. I mean, where else can you get 16 albums or 15 albums plus all these videos for, and what do you sell them for at the boat shows? $10?
$10. Are you on crack?
I'm going to guess 30.
No. They sell for $99 online. This is 15 albums, y'all. I spend like $20,000 per record in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
So this is 15. If you were to buy 15 albums at regular price, just a CD, one CD is $15. So there's 15 of these on there. So, but
That's
at the boat shows, I do a $49.99. But wait, there's more. I put a little guitar pick in there. So it's $50.
And we're well worth it at twice the price.
Yeah, I've sold tons of them at $99. Tons.
Are you ever going to do another scuba CD?
People ask me that all the time. And unfortunately, I did it with my partner, friend of mine, Steve Henderson, who plays steel drums. He's the guy that played on the, we co-wrote those songs together. It was a great fun, and we had big plans for it, but it never really we wanted to have them in every scuba store in the world, and that still should happen. Of course, people don't buy CDs anymore, but he doesn't really want to do it, and that's understandable because it's a lot of work. It costs a lot of money. I would do it. I'm always game for it, you know, but I can't do it unless he says, let's do it. So maybe one of these days he'll just change his mind and we'll get number 3 out.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Well, we're just about out of time. Actually, we're in overtime now. Sudden death. So let's move to wrap this up. And just want to thank Eric for being on the show with us. JP, it's always great to talk to you, brother.
You as well. Thank you for having me, man. I'm so glad to be here.
And I want to thank our sponsors, tropicalauthors.com, of course. Nick Sullivan is the big kahuna there. And if you're looking for a good beach read, go to tropicalauthors.com, and we've got 35 authors there. Eric's one of them. And cinematic book trailers. If you're an author looking to make book trailers, look them up. They're great. They do really good work. Of course, Pirate Radio, and my publisher, Down Island Press. And again, thank you guys for being on. It's been a lot of fun.
Thanks, Wayne. Had a blast, man. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you, Wayne. Nick's pleasure meeting you, man. Thank you very much.
You as
And
well.
If
Eric?
I didn't get to all y'all's questions on YouTube, I apologize. Tune in next month and we'll try again, right? All right. Good night, everybody.
Night, Nick. Night, JP. Night, Wayne.
Good night, you guys. Take care.